Yo, what's up everybody, Jumpin here, and today I'm going to be showing you one of my favorite loadouts in Helldivers 2. The gameplay you're going to watch will be a solo Helldive, and the reason I'm doing that is mainly just to kind of show off on how good this loadout can really be. Because this loadout is actually meant for when you join other players, when you are not the host. This is what I like to use, because I made a video recently and I talked about how if you're the host, you should definitely consider using fire against bugs, because it's really good. But if you are not the host, if you like to join other players, then you really shouldn't be using damage over time, because they do not work right. Hopefully in the future they will fix that and everybody can enjoy damage over time effects. But as of right now, it's kind of a detriment if you are bringing fire and you are not the host. So, what do I like to bring if that is the case? Well, I like to bring the Eruptor Sniper Rifle. This is definitely one of my favorite weapons now. And the main thing that is great about it is that it is actually amazing at mobbing. Now, the gameplay will be against bugs, but this loadout is perfect against the bots as well. This is probably my go-to bot loadout. The only difference is that I would probably bring the shield over the rover, and sometimes I may consider bringing the orbital laser over the Eagle airstrike. But the Quasar cannon, to me, is too good not to bring against everything, because I still like this for taking out the boss level enemies, where I could use the Eruptor to take out everything else, all the little enemies, and especially the annoying enemies like the Biospewers, if I get that modifier as I'm playing. So that's another great thing about this loadout. You don't really have to fear anything because you are going to counter almost everything. Alrighty, now the first thing I want to talk about is the Eruptor. This thing is amazing, and it's a beast. It's one of the best mobbing weapons in my opinion, just because you can shoot it and get 12 kills. That's crazy. And it's really just all about moving around and placing your shots kind of proper. You want to try to always get as much AoE as you can, and you also want to target all the medium enemies. Should be your main target, and when you hit those medium enemies, you're gonna get a lot of kills anyway because of the AoE. All the garbage trash enemies normally will die from that. The rover combo is very helpful with this because you're gonna hope that the rover is gonna get all the garbage trash enemies out of your way. And if you do have like teammates, and if they're using guns that can deal with most of the garbage enemies, maybe the sickle or the breaker incinerary, let them do that while you focus on the brood commanders, the hive guards, the warriors, and especially if you do get it, the biospewers, the nursing spewers. All of that you're going to destroy with this gun. And it's just really easy to control a breach. Now, one thing you're going to see me do consistently is I'm going to use my Eagle airstrike. Now, that's going to be on top of the breach, generally like almost right away, or at least very early into the breach. That way, I can try to thin it out a little bit. Normally, I'm going to get at least 10 kills off of that. And then if my rover is shooting, that's what I want, by the way. Little tip with this, because this is a ranged sniper build, your rover at times might be out of range and it won't shoot. So one thing you can always do is try to get close enough to get the rover to shoot, and then at that point, if you start to run away, that rover will continue to shoot stuff. Everything coming out that breach, it's going to shoot it from like a mile away, just because that's the way the rover works. And another tip about the rover is that whenever the rover is shooting, if it's shooting like a hive guard, really, in general, you should probably be trying to shoot where the rover is shooting. That way, when the enemy dies, if it is something dumb like a hive guard, once it dies, it's going to shift its target and hopefully target garbage trash bugs that will die very quickly from it. Now, let me talk about the main weakness to this weapon and this loadout in general. One thing that hopefully in the future won't be a problem, but that's going to be what you're going to do about your secondary, your sidearm. I hope in the future we get better sidearms. I have seen that there should be like a deagle weapon. I'm hoping that's going to be really good. I'm looking for something really strong that's going to be able to kill a lot of garbage enemies that's in your face, but also just feel really good. And right now, you have the laser pistol. That thing's trash in my opinion. The micro SMG, which, you know, it's decent. It's definitely good. I've used it for a very long time. But you also have the semi-automatic pistol, the Peacemaker. Now, I used that initially when the game came out, and then I just stopped using it, and I started using the micro. And for the longest time, I've always said the micro's just better. But now that I'm using the Peacemaker again, I gotta admit, I think I prefer it just because I feel like it's more accurate and it does what I want it to do, which again is to get that garbage, trash type of enemy out of my face. Because there is a danger zone. Once one of those enemies gets in your face, you gotta deal with it. Now you hope the rover will do it, but again the rover is kind of stupid at times, so it's just going to shoot things off in the distance, or a hive guard or something dumb like that, where you're struggling with some little garbage enemy, but you just can't get it off of you. So the Peacemaker helps with that. But another thing you can do, and you'll see me do it in this gameplay, is back dodge and then shoot. When you back dodge and shoot, 9 times out of 10, you are not going to hit yourself with the AoE. I've done that a whole lot, by the way. I constantly do that with this weapon, and it works out for me pretty much every time. So that's a good little technique you can use. But I'm hoping in the future we're going to have a secondary that's just going to be a little bit better than what we have right now. I think that's going to help this loadout. But overall, I think you're good. If you end up fighting bots with this, you're covered. The Quasar is always going to be good against the bots, and it's also really good against the bugs. So in terms of support weapon, that's good. Now in terms of your primary, this weapon is amazing against the bots. It just whacks tons of them. And because of the AoE of it, you can literally like shoot a dropship, right? It comes in and they're all bunched up, and you can shoot down the dropship with the Quasar, but you can also just take this sniper and shoot all the enemies. And I've seen it where you can kill all of them. It's pretty awesome. And then against the bugs, well, they're always coming out of the breach and stuff, so really all you have to do is just keep shooting into the breach. And I've seen this. If you have like 4 of these all shooting into the breach, the enemies, they stand no chance. They are not getting out of that breach. And it's pretty amazing. So I really do like this gun a lot. Now, the biggest complaint that I've seen that people have, and I don't get this either, is that whenever you do get hit by the AoE, you always fall forward. Now, physics doesn't really make a lot of sense there because the explosion is in front of you and it should actually make you fly backwards. And Arrowhead is amazing with their military style that they have in this game. Like the explosions and so many things are so realistic. And I think that's one of the biggest draws to the game. So it's a little bit weird that the physics to the explosion of this weapon sends you forward where it really should send you back. And if it did send you back, you would actually survive a lot. Because one of the big things that will happen is you'll fall over and then all of the bugs will swarm you and then you're dead. So that is something that absolutely can happen. And you got to be careful about that. And again, it is a big weakness is once they get in to your danger zone. Here's the thing that really shouldn't be happening all too much, because this gun will teach you and force you to actually play the right way against the bugs and the bots. So let me explain. How do you play against the bugs? What's the right way on the higher difficulties? Because this is when it really starts to matter. 7, 8, and 9. Well, what you got to do is you got to run and gun. You have to constantly adjust your position and keep moving. Now what this gun does is that because it has that long bolt animation, and by the way, right now there is a way to cancel that animation. I have seen this. I haven't tried it myself, but it looks like all you have to do is just swap to your pistol, and if you do that, you can actually cancel the animation and fire this gun a lot faster. Just be aware that they will definitely patch that though, so I wouldn't get used to it. And when it comes to the weapon overall, You don't really need it. It's something that I'll try to use because I've seen it and it looks cool, but I don't want to rely on it. It's not something you're going to have to rely on. Clearly, I mean, it's solo Helldive. I don't have any type of heavy machine gun, arc thrower, laser cannon, nothing for that. I don't need it though, because I can absolutely control these enemies using this one gun. And if I need to take out something that is more powerful, I have a Quasar. If I need to target an objective, I can also do that with the Quasar. The Quasar is an amazing tool. It is a sniper rocket launcher that has infinite ammo, and it's just really, really easy to use. So the Quasar is like the GOAT right now. And I think a lot of people are probably really intimidated to actually bring the Quasar with the Eruptor. They look at it and they just think, well, the Eruptor is the slow, heavy-hitting weapon. I need something for mobbing. And that's really the opposite, in my opinion, of the way you should actually use this thing. I really don't want to try to kill charges with it or to take out a Bio-Titan. Now, what you can do with it is that you can absolutely use it to help you DPS these things, though. If you're fighting a Bio-Titan, having a Quasar means you have options that if you don't have something like a Quasar, you're kind of screwed. You might have to just rely on your stratagems to take out something like a Bio-Titan. But with the Quasar, you can absolutely fight it. So you put that shot onto it, and then you have to wait for the cooldown. Well, while it's cooling down, just pull out your sniper and start putting some shots into it. You can get 3 shots off with this sniper before that Quasar will actually cool down. So then you just pull out the Quasar again, and you just keep doing that until the threat is dead. The DPS of that is absolutely awesome. Now earlier I said that this weapon also will make you play the proper way against the bots too. So how do you fight the bots properly? Well, you need to use cover. That's the main difference. You cannot run out in the open against the bots. They will absolutely one-shot you and just mow you down with guns. So you have to use your cover. With a weapon like this, it just makes the most sense. You take your shot, and then you get behind the cover while you do your animation. You poke back out, you take your shot. It literally is forcing you to play the way that you really should be playing against those bots. And it's the same thing with the bugs. You need to be moving. That is really the key to the bugs. Keep moving! Now in this gameplay, I am using the Eagle Airstrike. And one thing that I do is I actually use the napalm a lot when I'm the host and I'm using this weapon. I'm starting to now use this weapon, I think exclusively, at least for the time being, just because I absolutely hate the bio spewers and the nursing spewers, and I am a bug diver, there is no doubt. If I have a choice, I'm just gonna fight the bugs. I don't want to deal with the bots. This gun has become a go-to mainly because of the bio spewers. I wanted to get gameplay of me fighting nursing spewers just because this thing is so good against them, but I got this little bug hell and I thought that, you know, hey, this looks good just because I think that a lot of people might think that this would be garbage when you have all of those little bugs coming at you, but it's really not. It actually completely destroys it. Now, this point of the video is probably the closest I came to dying, just because I was completely out of stems and I kind of lost my resupply. That's always a problem if you, well, throw a resupply and you forget where you threw it, and it happens a lot. But the Quasar is amazing for helping you take things out and making things not so difficult. Speaking of that, that is another weakness to this weapon I just remembered. The Shriekers. Now, the Shriekers are a nightmare if you have this weapon. You have to rely on the rover to kind of take them out for you, because you can kill them with this. I have hit them and it is satisfying to take out a whole group of them, hitting one of them with this weapon. But hitting them is very hard. And the pistol, this is why I want something like the Deagle, because I'm hoping it could actually kill them in one shot. This semi-auto pistol is just completely trash against the Shriekers. It does like nothing against them. And to be honest, all of the sidearms are just kind of trash against the Shriekers. So it is a weakness, and the only time that that's going to be a problem though is when you drop in. The moment you dive in, there's a chance that you may land close to one and they're going to come out on you. But normally it shouldn't be a problem because you have a Quasar. You see the Shrieker's nest and you know I need to take this out from range, and then it's not a problem anymore. And sometimes solo, it can be kind of annoying because you're sitting there and it takes forever to take out all of the Shrieker's nest. And there's like a million bugs coming after you because they are hearing all the noise and the commotion, and you're getting breaches, and it's like, oh no. It just sucks. But this breach, I'm controlling it well. I repositioned to get a better spot. I dropped that airstrike, it got me quite a few kills, but it also stripped the leg off of that charger, which allowed me to shoot it with the eruptor and just flat out kill it. So that was absolutely pretty awesome. I mentioned earlier that I normally like to use the napalm over the airstrike if I am the host. So let me explain that a little bit. Normally when I play with my friends, I'm almost always the host. Everybody just joins me. And if I'm the host, I want to take advantage of fire, so I just think napalm's the easiest way to do that. I don't really have to use anything else but the napalm. And all I do with it is just drop it mainly on top of breaches. That way all of the little garbage bugs that come out will just instantly die. And it allows me to focus with my eruptor on the medium level enemies. And my rover, of course, can help me DPS those enemies. And of course, it can also help me kill all of the trash enemies. So I really like napalm a lot. But if you are joining people, I absolutely think the airstrike is one of the best. I'm shocked that more people don't use the Eagle airstrike. It's just something. I don't know why people don't like it. Is it because they feel like it can kill teammates? Is it because they don't think that it gives them enough bang for the buck? I feel like maybe a lot of people might use it wrong. Because if you use it to close bug holes, or destroy factories, or to just wipe out giant groups of mobs, you fall in love with it so quickly. So I just don't know why so many people they don't use it. They will use the 500 kilogram bomb. Everybody uses that. Eagle airstrike seems to be kind of unloved by a lot of people. Now, I'm not sure on how people like to play with others in this game. Do you just join people's lobbies, or do you just join SOSs? Me personally, if I'm looking to try to play with other people, I just SOS, because I'll load right in. If I don't like the situation or the group, I can just leave right away. So I can just put up with that little bit of that nightmare and go, okay, I'm out of here. But I think SOSs are great, and sometimes you load in and it's like the end of the mission, so you can actually get XP and stuff for free practically. All of that is really good about SOSs. And this loadout is my SOS loadout. Because I know when I go in, I'm not the host. And I also know that I want to be covered if I'm fighting bots, if I'm fighting bugs. It doesn't matter what type of bugs they are, biospewers, nursing spewers. It could be a biotitan, it could be a charger, it don't matter. I'm fully covered to deal with everything. I guess one thing I want to talk about is something, as of recording, I do not know what we're going to get, but we should be getting new stratagems soon. I really like how they're doing this game with the live service, because it seems like every month we're going to get a new war bond, and we're going to get a couple new stratagems. So it's every 2 weeks, and that way you have something to look forward to, and I really like that a lot. So I have no idea what we're going to be getting. We have seen everything if you pay attention to any of the leaks. My guess is we're going to be getting the autocannon mech and the anti-air cluster bomb rocket launcher. Now, let me tell you, that cluster bomb looks amazing. The only problem with it that I could see is that it's a 2-player weapon, and I just don't like those. I don't like having to reload those. solo, and that particular one has like a 6-second reload time. I definitely think they should buff that. I think that we need to get more upgrade modules. That's another thing they add to, I guess. Well, we need to get more of those. And one of those upgrades really should be, when you have one of the team weapons, you can actually solo reload it twice as fast. So what I mean is that particular one, if it's 6 seconds without the upgrade, once you get the upgrade, it's only 3. Imagine how much better the autocannon would be, or the recoilless rifle. They would be so much better if you could reload them solo faster. So an upgrade just makes a lot of sense there. I'm definitely going to be curious to see if I'm right about my guess on what's coming out. The reason why I'm thinking that these things are coming out is, one, the anti-air cluster rocket looks really done to me. It looks like it can come out and it's just going to work fine. Same with the mech now. The mech, they have continuously been changing that mech slightly, and now it looks like it is ready to come out. So hopefully we will get that. I really want a vehicle though. I want a car, something like that to move us around. I know that the cars have been kind of weird, where when people call them in, some of the cars seem fairly useless if the tires just get blown out right away. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. It would just be nice to have something to move around the map faster. And I would like to see, once we get these vehicles, I kind of want another stratagem slot. I feel like they could have a vehicle stratagem slot where all the vehicles have a limit, maybe 2 you can call in per the mission with long cooldowns, but you can bring one of the different vehicles if you want to. That way you don't have to waste a stratagem slot on it. You know, if I have to choose between taking out Bio Titans or moving around the map quicker to save me time to get to another objective, I'm going to always go with the thing that's going to keep me alive and help me kill threats. Screw the vehicle. Now, yeah, the vehicle maybe can kill a Bio Titan if it has good guns and things on it. But then again, it could just get blown up right away. If you don't believe me, just bring the mech. The mech can be good, and there was a time where the mech was really, really good, and then they kind of screwed it up. But too many times with that damn mech, I've seen it where people call it in, and it just gets blown up right away. You only have 2 of them, and you have to wait this long cooldown. So I say, when it comes to all the vehicles, including mechs, you could just give us another stratagem slot, and that slot has to be used on a vehicle type stratagem. I think that's fair. And if you want to bring mechs and you don't want to bring any type of terrain vehicle, you can do that. But I think a lot of people are going to bring terrain vehicles. That's what I would bring, just to save some time for the team. But it would be cool to also have mechs, more mechs all the time. You know, they could keep making the game more difficult, because the game is difficult as of now. I can see this game evolving through the story, where the main thing they're going to probably be doing is introducing new units, new enemies to fight. Now, a lot of those enemies might be variations of enemies we already have. So an example would be like a charger that's a biocharger. That looks pretty cool, okay? Now, it's scary, especially if you get the bio modifier. And when you get that modifier, you will see the bio spewers. You have all those little tiny bugs, those little bio spewers, and they are so annoying because they slow you down. Imagine having a charger that's also a bio charger. It would just be like, oh my god, like what is this? But if they're gonna up the difficulty, I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll get stalkers that can fly. That would suck. But if they're gonna keep up in the difficulty like that, and if we're gonna get a new faction, especially one that's an alien faction that's super technologically advanced, I say give us a permanent vehicle slot. Why not? And that is something that is important too, because one of the big arguments, of course, is that your stratagems are the most important thing in the entire game. It's how you deal with the situation you're in. You can't solely want one thing to do it all. They don't like that.
That's the anti-meta stuff. Like, once something becomes too meta because it's too well-rounded, that's when they may change it a little bit. I'm hoping they don't do that with the Quasar. I feel like the Quasar is in a good spot. The only problem with the Quasar is that the Quasar is better, in my opinion at least, than the recoilless and the deployables. That being the case, and I know some people might argue with me over that, why not buff the damage of those weapons instead? Make those do even more damage. I don't know how many shots it takes with a recoilless rifle to take out a Bio Titan, but make it just do way more damage than it does against enemies like that. Same with the bots. If you're fighting a factory or something, that recoilless is just going to do a hell of a lot more damage than the Quasar. But the Quasar is still going to work the same way. It's not going to get its damage nerfed to the ground to make up for the fact that those things kind of have the same damage. I think they all have the same damage, to be honest. Although I think the recoilless may be stronger. It might be. I don't know. I don't use it enough, man. I don't like it. I hate that reload. The reload sucks. Now, one thing about this is about to show exactly why the Eagle Airstrike is so freaking good. I have 3 of them, and it's my extraction. I have a breach. I need these Eagle Airstrikes, but they absolutely put in some work for me. Because, one, it helped me thin the herd. But I'm about to throw another one here. And I was talking about this before. But if you are using the Eagle Airstrike, guys, chuck it at the Bio Titans. There's no reason not to. If you don't have a 500 kilogram and you're looking for something to do, just chuck your Eagle Airstrike at it. Because if you have Quasars or anything like that, it will weaken the Bio Titan. And it will allow you to then, a lot of times, just straight up kill the Bio Titan with the Quasar. One shot. Or the airstrike will come in and kill the Bio Titan for you after you have hit it just once. So airstrike is just amazing. It's too freaking good. Alrighty guys. Well, I did not die. That was a flawless solo Helldive. And I think I got like 611 kills, something like that. So it was a pretty decent game overall. I do believe I got about 99% of everything done. I did skip a super nest. That's what I call some of the heavier ones that have the 10 holes. I knew that I didn't have enough time for that. Well, that's going to pretty much do it for this video. I really do hope that you have enjoyed it. And if you have, will you please like the video for me? And be sure to subscribe for future Helldivers 2 content. Thank you so much for watching. And I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day. And peace out.